And welcome everybody to the Lost Ruins Tuesday game. Some of us know each other, some of us don't. I'd like to introduce everybody to Sadie. This, I believe, will be her first TTRPG game.
Yes.
Ooh,
Welcome.
Thank you.
So
It's gonna be fun.
yeah.
it will be. So going around in the order of the characters that you see on the screen, in the upper left-hand corner, that is Sadie's character. Moving to the right, there we have Steven's character. And then moving directly below Steven is going to be Jason's character. He decided to play a dwarf berserker.
Ooh.
Moving next to him is Nathan's warlock. That I will let him divulge as much or as little as he wishes about his character. And then below that is a dwarven wizard, played by Erica. So, this is Level Up Advanced 5th Edition. It is a 5e adjacent system that's a lot more crunch, a lot more keep you on your toes kind of stuff. Sound about right, Nathan?
Yeah. Yeah, more decisions.
So if you see your character icons there on the map, if you click them.
Sorry, I'm trying to turn down the.
Oh, say on the
Thing.
so in the upper right-hand corner of your screen, you're going to see a little music notes. It says playlists. You click that, and then you can turn the volume down from there.
I turned down the Welcome to Ravnica to like 5%.
Yep. I just turned down. Actually, what I would do if I were you is I would turn down your playlists under user volume control. Just turn that down to 5%, and then everything will be turned down going forward.
For now. I'll adjust then as well.
Okay. I got it. Oh, it took me a little. I apologize.
So yeah, so if you click your character icon, it should open your character sheet. Like I have opened Heinrich Kempsvug. Because German, why not, right? So both Thalia, as Sadie's character, and Sinwig, as Steven's character, you should notice that your character sheets are fully built. Minus like some inventory stuff and so on and so forth. But not entirely. So you want to look over those. If you have questions, obviously feel free to ask. Like I said, you have your spells. Anything that you want to have steady, ready access to, you would click the star button on the other tabs, and it'll be available on your main page. Sadie, if there are other cantrips that you wish to take, let me know. I just picked some generic ones for you that I thought were pretty cool, especially with the longbow.
Yeah, no, I was actually looking through those, and I thought those would.
Like, I had her take, for everybody's reference, I had her take Flare Shot. So she can, at the beginning of a round, if there's people that don't have dark vision, she can literally shoot an arrow into the air, and it descends over time.
Ooh.
And gives
Cool.
light.
Pretty cool.
Gives light to the area.
That's me and the Dragonborn, right?
Yep.
Gonna be the blindy.
Yeah, so she has something that she can literally do. Her first action in combat is just launch an arrow into the air and give light to the party.
That's really cool.
Let's see. Range, it sheds bright light to a range of 100 feet and dim light for a range of 200 feet. So, like, it just slowly descends over the course of a minute. So it gets you that bright light for a minute of 100 feet and dim for 200. So it's a good mechanical, like, people need to see. Okay, cool.
Yeah, instead of needing special equipment, when you said that magical items in this world are kind of rare.
Yep. Magical items are kind of rare. They're not super uncommon. They're not super common either. They're well guarded by the people that have them. As Eric and I were talking earlier, I did let her know that Jason has rolled to have an ancestral weapon. So he will be having a weapon that levels up as he does, which is fitting for a berserker to have. So for those of you who kind of already know your characters, introduce yourselves. You want to start, Steven?
Sure. My character is Sinwig Bronze Scale, as he. Well, we'll get to why he kept the last. His name is what it is. He's a dragonborn, but as of what, at least my character and probably everyone else's character would know, is the only dragonborn at all. Is found in this like catacomb-like place and raised amongst hill dwarves.
Yep. So Sinwig was found deep underneath Solaris, the main big dwarven stronghold down there on the coast off the Osval Mountain. And when they brought him up to the surface, he hatched. And due to the premise of the land, so for those of you who don't know, which would be everybody but Nathan, everything before 1791 years ago has been lost to history. The world basically has collective amnesia.
Which is this year, right?
No,
According to the calendar.
So basically everything going back to like year zero. So from like year zero on, we have history of the world. Everything before year zero is nobody knows.
Okay, so 1791 is this year, and back to year zero previous, we don't have anything.
Well, no, from year zero to 1791, you have history. Anything
Right.
prior to year zero, no idea. And the world is much older
Yeah.
than
1700 years, yeah. Okay.
Then yeah, my character is going martial. He doesn't wear armor, but like wears clothing to make it look like he is, as part of his parents' concerns were him going out and doing stuff without it, but he knowing like his scales is kind of a protective coat. He stands at like 6'5", pretty kind of Dragonborn-esque build, fairly well shaped. He's a bronze Dragonborn, which is why his last name is Bronze Scale. He wanted to keep that as to relate back to his heritage. And his name is Sinwig, as that translates to Born Hero.
All right.
I think that's all I've got for my character for the time.
all right. Sadie or Nathan?
So I've got Teclin Widatory, who is definitely human, I promise. I have papers to prove it. And just disquieting as all get out. Yeah, doesn't really seem to fit in anywhere. So we'll see how he's introduced. But yeah, odd and off-putting.
Oh, I would say, and it's not that we've talked off screen
Mhm.
about it, but both Thalia and Teclin are actually from Ensmeri, off in the woods, deep within the Ensmeri glades.
Okay.
It's a primarily elven community, but not super fond of outsiders, but at the same time, like not welcoming either. You know, like they have trade with the outside world, but generally, like if you find yourself as the traitor to Ensmeri, you must have done something to piss somebody off. You know, Ensmeri is just its own very unique. If you pull up the World Anvil stuff on the map, you can kind of see what Ensmeri is all about on the World Anvil site. Actually, I'll pull it up here real quick, and I will read you a short synopsis of Ensmeri. So, welcome to the enigmatic city of Ensmeri, nestled deep within the dense and sultry southern glades. The city shrouded in mystery, where the climate is hot and humid, and the air is heavy with the scent of moss and decay. This beguiling city, often described as hauntingly beautiful, is a place where nature and mysticism intertwine. So, it is governed by a council of elders, revered for their wisdom and understanding of the mystical forces that permeate the glade. Decisions are made in harmony with the land and its spirits, ensuring the city's balance with the natural world. Despite its isolation, Ensmeri maintains trade relations with neighboring settlements, exporting rare herbs, enchanted flora, and mystical artifacts. Travelers from distant lands often visit the city to seek guidance from the Ensmerians in matters of magic and nature. To list a few of the properties of Ensmeri. So it's not super uncommon to see a couple of its Denzians traveling the northern road and coming to Solaris to join the Legion. It is a rare sight to see that. So perhaps Thalia and Teclin, you catch a couple side eyes from people. You know, but you have your reasons for coming. So, like I said, Nathan, with your particular character, I wanted to leave it up to you how much you want to divulge.
Yeah.
And obviously, at some point, you and Sadie will need to exchange a few
Yes.
messages with each other to intertwine.
Yeah.
And I will go ahead real quick and introduce Heinrich Kampfsvug on behalf of Jason, because him and I spent a good 3.5 hours talking about him last night. He is a dwarf who originally his clan was not part of the rest of Hildorf society, but an outlier and mining in the Oswald Mountains before the orcish hordes became too prevalent in them and kind of slaughtered his whole clan and pushed him out. So he has an unbridled hatred for orcs. And is just like, you mention orc, you see him get angry. You mention orc a second time, he gets very rageful. I mean, what else do I really need to say about Heinrich at that point? You know, he fled to Solaris and kind of raised on like the outskirts of town maybe not in the town itself, but now that he's come of age and he has his great-grandfather's axe and realizes that he can't seek vengeance on his own, is that he will need people around him that may or may not share the same goals, but that can assist him in seeking vengeance, as his destiny is revenge. And I think that brings us to Thalia. You want to introduce your character a little bit?
I honestly don't know, but that's just the awkward turtle of me. But I basically, Thalia is just a person that likes to help as best as she can, but also does like to have some more knowledge as well. Hence, Thalia is basically meaning for knowledge, and Asa is like for healing or whatnot. So knowledge healer or anything like that.
And I think too
Uh,
that Thalia is in awe of the outside world, having spent most of her time in Ensmeri and kind of being maybe sent along with Teclin, as you two do know each other, to kind of keep an eye on him. You know, he's always been weird. He's always been a little out there. Backstory wise, something for you guys to figure out is how much Thalia really knows about Teclin and so on and so forth, and how deep you want to play that connection. But I think from some of the conversations that you and I had, Sadie, Thalia is like in awe of the outside world, but at the same time like very guarded and like reserved. Like you're leaving the only world that you've ever known and being like sent out on this quest to, you know, go see the rest of the world and, you know, maybe join the fight against oppressors and so on and so forth. That you're just like, at the same time, you're like, I have to do all this and I have to watch out and I have to watch over him. Like, I'm not prepared for this. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'll figure it out. That sound about right?
yeah.
So, and I think that brings us to a yet to be named character, Erica.
Yes. Sorry, name TBD. Gonna be playing a dwarven wizard. Going to be probably multi-classing. Working on possibly tying her into Jason's character. So that's TBD as well.
Yep.
But
speaking on behalf of Jason, we're thinking about either making Erica's character a direct sister that also fled with him, or a stepsister of the family that kind of took his character in, because he fled at like 9, and making her like the wild child stepsister that was always off getting into trouble while he was just being too pissed off at the world to really do anything. So, and I think the people here that know Jason knows that he will be like, yeah, sure, let's do it.
More than likely, but yeah, not going to say for sure. And we are going to be like all together in a military unit, right? That was kind of the basic premise. Okay.
Yeah.
So my plan is for her to, like I said, she was kind of a bit of a troublemaker, got into some trouble, so she's gonna be serving in the military versus, you know, facing punitive punishment. And then also if Jason decides to, if we are going to be kind of that brother-sister relationship, if he decides to join the military as a way to seek revenge, she will. That's another incentive for her to join and support him and try to be part of the same unit. So that would be kind of her tie-in.
Perfect. Alrighty. So, Erica, if you open your character sheet,
Yes.
you can see. Let's start with your ability scores and your point buy.
Okay, yeah, I wanted to ask how you kind of wanted to do that. Were you doing...
I am doing, you can either take the regular standard array, or you can take point buy. I would recommend point buy. So I have my calculator up. So we start with, every ability score starts at an 8. You get 27 points. A 9 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 9. So based on your character and the background that you have chosen, do you want intelligence to be your highest score? Yes.
Yes, if we're gonna start out as wizards,
Okay.
so
You would probably make that a 16.
okay.
Okay, and then I'm assuming you want Dex.
Yes.
Okay, so Dex you can also make a 16. That leaves us with 9 points. I'm assuming you don't want strength, so strength will be an 8.
Yeah, not gonna put
I'm
much
assuming
probably into strength.
Charisma, do you want any bonuses in your charisma score based off the things that you and I discussed earlier tonight?
Should we do charisma or con based on possibly being more up in...
If you're going to be more
Shit.
up in it and have magical bonuses to your armor class, I wouldn't worry about charisma. I wouldn't even... it doesn't matter which subclass of fighter that you choose to take. It's you can use a dex-based weapon and be fine.
Okay, then let's do con next, and then probably charisma, then wisdom.
Okay, so con... technically, with the system that I have... Oh, I think... Yeah, you could technically make... Well, let me see here. So that's your +1. That's a +1. Like, so basically what you could do, there is a way in my system that you could have 3 16s and 3 8s.
So I can get a +1 to dex and a +1 to other with...
Well, so no, I've already done that. I've done that in your intelligence and dex. That's how you get those to 16. So currently you have 9 points to spend remaining. So if you want con at a 14, that's going to cost you 7 points. You could spend all 9 and get a 15, and then I have added a +1 additional ability score. So technically you could have 3 16s and 3 8s if you want. Or you could make con a 14 and make wisdom a 10. And then pick a +1 to put somewhere in that.
I think maybe that. So would you say wisdom or charisma for
what do you want your con score to be is the question.
The next highest, I think. The 14, I think, is fine.
You want it to be at a 14? So that's going to leave you 2 points. Yep. So you make your con a 14. I guess it really matters on which save you want to be a little bit better. You know? Like, do you want your wisdom save to be flat roll? Or do you want your charisma save to be a flat roll? Are you...
Well, with her wild child tendencies, I'm assuming her wisdom isn't that great.
So, all right. So
Doesn't have a whole lot of common sense.
All right. And you have one more point. So you could choose to make your intelligence a 17. And then... Like, so this is where, even with my +1, that things become interesting. Like, you could choose to go total... like Heinrich is a 17 strength, 15 dex, 16 con, 8 intelligence, 8 wisdom, 8 charisma. He is a pissed off dwarf berserker, everybody.
Well, for my multi-classing,
Your most important multi-classing is you have dex and intelligence. So, like, you're starting out in wizard, you've already got the dex score. I mean, if you're not worried about being charismatic at all, and you're just thinking about that you're hardy, I would say put charisma back to an 8 and make your con 16. You're hardy, you're agile, and you're smart. I mean, Nathan, input?
I'm a little more hesitant to just crazy dump, although I am doing that with my character in this system, just because there's the possibility of non-standard skill tests. B, like, a lot of the downtime stuff or the journey activities will use different scores. If you want to do crafting, you're going to need 2 scores that are usually not tied together for character classes that are pretty good to do, like, magical weapon crafting. I don't know.
probably not going to do crafting, but if I do, like, duelist, Sean, like, charisma, like, because that's going to be a 0 right there.
Well, yeah, you're gonna be a -1, so whatever feature you have, you'll be able to do once. I don't think you're gonna be worrying too much about the charisma stuff from the duelist class if that's the way you go. I think because you're leaning into the blade chanter stuff, so it's gonna be about your ability to hit and your ability to cast spells. So I think that you're gonna end up losing some of the other fighter stuff. That you might have access to if you were a pure fighter. That you'll still have access to, but it's not going to be as important for you if you choose to go the full blade chanter route. Because mainly you're going to want to hit with your melee attacks, burn your reaction to cast the spell at the same time. So a lot of the other, like, charisma stuff that you might get from a duelist or this or that isn't going to matter as much.
I'm kind of wondering from just like a role play, like, maybe kind of like leaning into what Nathan was saying a little bit, not wanting that to be like a straight 8.
Okay. So in that case, you have a plus. So right now I currently have you on your character sheet. I have you at an 8, a 16, a 14, a 16, an 8, and a 10. You have one more +1 to put somewhere that of your choice.
So a 17 on something is still a +3.
Yep, a 17 is not going to get you that bonus, but it's going to get you closer to having an 18.
Right. And did you say you were including the +1s from the Marauder?
Yep.
Yep, you are. Okay. So did you do Dex and Int?
I did.
Okay. Go ahead and do Int.
Okay. Okay. So you have an 8, 16, 14, 17, 8, and 10.
Yes.
All right. So what you're going to want to do is open the compendium packs. And click A5E. And then on your character sheet, you're going to want to go to the Features tab.
Heritage features.
Nope. On your character sheet, you're going to want to go to the Features tab.
Okay.
So then in the compendium packs, you're going to want to click on just Heritages. And then you're going to take Dwarf and drag it over onto your sheet.
Okay. Where'd my character sheet?
And then it's going to ask you a couple of questions.
And you said, where'd my character sheet keep going? Stop disappearing. That's why. Okay.
Then you drag Dwarf forward. I know you already said that you wanted to pick Dwarven Toughness, so you check the Dwarven Toughness box. And there you go.
Yep. Okay.
All right. So after that, you're going to click into Cultures. And you're going to find the culture that we discussed. Oh, they made that one difficult. Of course they did.
I'm not seeing a cultures tab.
No, not Cultures tab on your character sheet in the compendium pack.
Okay.
Oh, boy, of course they made wilding difficult. So
You're welcome.
all of those choices that we had, you have to pick from.
Mm-hmm. Add
You
them
have to-
separately.
You have to add them separately. So
Okay. All right. Let me look at it again.
actually, so with Heinrich's, I'm going to hold off on that because he might want to change what him and I talked about based on what you and I are talking about. So Jason's character, I'll have to build at a point in time. That would just help you with yours. Okay. So, cultures. All right. So you were going with wilding.
Mm-hmm.
Did you want Nightwalker or Sunseeing?
Hmm.
So they're broken down, which is weird. They have. Okay, so you have to pick. So first you have to pick. Do you want to get an expertise die on investigation and perception checks made in moonlight or starlight, or do you want to gain expertise die on investigation and perception checks made in daylight?
Let's go ahead and do sun scene.
Sunseeing. Okay. Now, for the other one, which is weird. Okay, so you automatically get expert forager, and you get internal clock. So, which living off the land feature you like? Did you want to go with that hunter one that we talked about?
Land hunter, yes.
Yes. Okay, let me see if this. All right, so now you get to select some languages. You have common and one other language.
Okay. So what are my options?
Reality would be knowing Orc would come in handy. Elvish, you're gonna obviously already know Dwarvish.
Probably Orcish, I think.
Actually, it doesn't say that you know Dwarvish. That's
Should I know that from being a dwarf?
no. Being born a dwarf has nothing to do with the languages you know.
Mm,
You're a dwarf, but it all depends on where you're raised.
true.
So,
Well, kind of considering the background, it probably makes sense that I know Dwarvish
all right,
for sure.
we'll click Dwarvish. So you get that. So that gives you. The heck is that one? All right, so you get weather sense. You get living off the land. You get the enhanced vision. For some reason, it doesn't add the. I could have sworn expert forager and internal clock, or the way it's written in the PDF. Nathan, you want to open the PDF to page 73 and help me with this?
Where you at?
Page 73 on the PDF for wilding. It says enhanced vision. Characters remaining in the wild culture share a variety of traits in common. Enhanced vision. You gain proficiency in perception check. Choose one of the following. Nightwalker, sun seeing.
Yeah. Those are the ones, that you choose between. You
Yeah.
should still get
Then it's
foraging.
like expert foraging, internal clock, living off the land.
Yeah. So
But-
you should get
but-
those, except you also have to choose between agricultural, speak a thwarter, and land hunter, water drifter.
Yeah, which we picked. But then, like, Nightwalker and the.
Is there a Daywalker? Because that was what I chose, but the Nightwalker.
I thought you picked Nightwalker.
No, I said Sunseeing.
Oh, my bad.
No worries. Okay.
I'll delete that. That's easy enough. The problem is that nothing adds the other stuff. So yeah, you pick Sun Seeing Land Hunter. Now it's saying you have. Oh, yeah, so yeah. Submit. But then it doesn't let me add the. Oh, so I can add Forager and Block. Okay. Watch, here we go. It's weird. It's going to add stuff multiple times.
It looks like there's one for each of the possible combinations. So there's Wildling, Forager, Water Drifter, Wildling, Forager, Land Hunter. So you would pick. So I'm going to be the Sun Seeing, and then whatever the next one would be.
Sun Seeing Land Hunter.
And then you drag the Sun Seeing Land Hunter, and it didn't add the other stuff.
Yeah.
I'm seeing on my character sheet.
Well, I just added all that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's why you're seeing it. I added the Wilding Clock Land Hunter.
Yeah, I've got the Weather Sense, the Internal Clock.
Now you should
Clock
be good.
Land Hunter.
You have to add two. You have to add two of them. Okay. Yeah, because you got the Sun Seeing Land Hunter, the Enhanced Vision, Living Off the Land, Weather Sense. You got two Weather Senses, actually. That's why it's weird.
The other thing is between the Agriculturist and the Beast Warden.
Yeah, you don't have. That's the Land Hunter you picked.
Living off the land, sustaining yourself. You gain
Living off the
proficiency in
land, it
nature.
goes into land. There's 4 choices in that. You picked Land Hunter.
Oh, okay, perfect. Okay, yep. Now I see that now.
As long as I got Internal Clock. Only thing I don't have is Expert Forager. For whatever reason. Which is fine. I can drag this one.
Okay.
And I can have the Wilding Forager. It's an odd combination. I've never run into this where they just Yeah. It's weird. It's all good. You just have all that stuff. Whatever, we'll figure it out as we go. All right, so then there is the background. And we had decided on which one again? Marauder, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I drag Marauder over. I already picked those. All right, so you get to pick stealth or intimidation.
Stealth.
You're going to pick stealth. Double check that. Go back to Marauder to make sure.
Sure.
Yep. So yep, you're going to pick stealth. Okay. You get one set of tool proficiency. One type of artisan tools or vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Let's do
alchemist supplies, bookbender kit, brewer supplies, calligraphers, carpenters, cartographers, cobblers, cooks, glass blowers, jewelers, leather workers, masons, painters, potters, tinkers, weavers, or wood carvers.
And what does Tinkers do again?
Tinker's tools do.
Give me find.
Cool. There we are. So let's see. Doesn't have a direct. This is what they do. Per se. They just let you tinker with mechanical stuff. There's no written
I can look at that and then I'll.
No, there's literally nothing in the adventurer's guide that tells you exactly what Tinker's tools are. That's more of like a I picked those, DM, figure it out.
I was gonna say maybe like thieves' tools like make the most sense in this situation, but that's not an option. So I know in like the 5e that we were playing, like Tinker's tools kind of let you. I think they let you make like another tool set if needed be.
Well, you could say that like underneath those, let me see here. They're not tied to any particular ability score. So like you could totally take like calligrapher supplies. I think would make sense as a wizard.
Okay. The only other thing maybe is like, so in like 5e, Tinker's tools let you like repair something.
That
makes sense.
The biggest thing that you need to, the biggest thing that's going to take a lot of people's heads to wrap around is that A5e is not O5e.
Yeah.
You want to repair stuff, it depends on what you're trying to repair. You're trying to repair leather, then you're going to need leather workers tool. You're trying to repair some metal armor, you're going to need smith's tool. Trying to repair some jewelry, you're going to need jeweler's tool. Like everything, or you're trying to make arrows, you're going to need wood carver's tool. Things like that. Tinker's tools aren't a catch-all for everything else.
Okay. Well then, yeah, sure. Calligrapher's tools right now make sense. So.
I mean, you can make some pretty cool shit with some calligrapher's tools if you think about it.
Yeah. I mean, I think I tried to have that. I think I had that proficiency in my last game, so.
Well, think about forging documents and
All kinds of trouble.
all right. So now the fun part, because this one is they don't have just simple little things. Let me open your PDF to your adventurer class of Wizardo. Okay. So in there, that's literally just class features, and we have to drag and drop your class features as we go. So, which is simple, because it should just be literally arcane recovery. And that's like it. That's it. That's like your only class feature. You like that? That's simple enough for you?
Right. Well, I gotta choose my skills, right?
I mean, technically. So,
So is that where the star comes in, or?
no, so under your skills, yes. So you get, as a wizard, you get a couple things. So first, let's go to your weapon proficiencies, which I will do. So you get daggers, darts, slings, and quarterstaff. And that's it.
Mhm.
Tools that you get proficiencies in are alchemist supplies, calligrapher supplies, or cartographer's tools. Now you already have calligrapher supplies. So do you want alchemist supplies or cartographers?
I'm thinking with what kind of eventually how this progresses, maybe cartographer tools makes more sense.
That's up to you. You know, cartography, I mean, you want to spend some time making maps. There's a character in the other game that's made a lot of money making maps. Is that right, Nathan?
Mm-hmm. Although, as long as you have more starting money, I think jeweler's tools will treat you more.
Well, level 1, there's not a whole lot of
Yeah.
starting money.
Yeah.
I don't have that, so.
So for skills, you get to choose between 2 from Arcana, History, Insight, Investigation, Medicine, and Religion.
I thought you got
Investigation.
to pick 2 specialties from like any.
No,
wait, you're
these
doing
are
class
skills.
stuff.
These are
Sorry.
skills.
Yeah. My
Not,
bad.
I'm not into that fancy stuff yet, Nathan. I'll get there. Trust me.
I'm definitely gonna do Arcana.
Okay.
Um,
History, Insight, Investigation, Medicine, or Religion.
probably Investigation.
An investigation. All right. So, you can either choose to pick here. So you begin the game with 100 gold. You can either choose to pick one of the starting equipment sets or buy your own equipment as you see fit. So the starting equipment suggestions are the Arcane Investigator set that costs 81 gold, the dagger, a backpack, 4 candles, chalk, clothes, component pouch, spellbook, and 2 vials. There's the Mage's Scholar set, which costs 89 gold, which is a quarterstaff, an abacus, clothes, ink pen, orb, arcane focus, 10 sheets of parchment, stack, and a spellbook. Or the Traveling Mage's set of a quarterstaff, backpack, bedroll, clothes, component pouch, flask of oil, lantern, a hooded one, a mess tin, and a spellbook. or you can choose to take 100 gold and buy whatever you want.
What does a quarterstaff do versus? If I can spell.
You can't spell.
Nope. How many tries? And it's not finding a quarterstaff.
What? Under items?
There we go.
There's-
There we go. Okay.
So, like I'm saying, like, are you gonna pick like one of the already made? Sets, or are you gonna piecemeal?
Good question.
Is the question. It's like, yeah. The spell book is 50 gold. Like sometimes just like, especially if you're starting at level 1, sometimes just going with the pre-made,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Daggers can also be thrown, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Like I said, there's the Arcane Investigator set. If you look at page 289 of the PDF, there's the Mage's Scholars set and the Traveling Mages set.
This is taking too long.
I would recommend either the Arcane Investigator set or the Traveling Mages set. Because then you're dealing with a component pouch and not a freaking orb.
Yeah, I was kind of curious, like, what that was supposed to be.
So,
On as far as I know, the gold cost of the sets are the exact cost of buying everything separately.
yeah, pretty much.
So you should be able to like just sell back and buy anything you need to like alter.
Yeah. Yeah, so like if you want the Mage's Scholar set and you don't want the Orb Arcane focused, you know,
So it's the Orb Arcane Focus versus a component pouch.
yeah. I'm
Is like
assuming
one
an
better than
orb,
the other?
well, yeah, an orb you hold in your hand, a component pouch is on your body. You have an orb in your hand, it's something I can actually target and take away from you.
Sure. Okay. But I'm gonna need a separate Arcane Focus, right, for being a wizard?
No.
No. Okay.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Nathan, but
I think it's usually component style casting or focus style casting. It's just like if you're holding an arcane focus, you can use that hand to both like do the somatic, or sorry, the yeah, that's right, somatic components as well as take care of the material components. And then I think the theory with the pouch is that you're doing the somatic components and then reaching into your pouch and doing the material components. So it's 6 of one, half dozen the other.
Yep. Yes. For under your class for spellcasting focus, it says you can use an arcane focus as a spellcasting focus for your wizard.
Yeah. Only with times it gets funky is with like clerics who can do it on their shield and things like that. Paladins too, I think, in this version.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I think the only real thing is what I said. Like, are you using an arcane focus? Well, that's something I can disarm you of.
Mm-hmm. I'm thinking I'm liking the daggers more than the quarterstaff, because they can also be thrown, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So probably the investigator set then.
Arcane investigator set. Look at that. Watch this. Look at that.
Fancy.
Oh, except the dagger will work right. Always got to drag the dagger out. Because then you have a spell book, you have a couple vials to do some stuff with. So let's see, that's going to bring you down. Did it wrong. Now I got to pull up everybody else's sheet.
Yeah, I am just now noticing they've made me so happy they got rid of studded leather.
They did.
Why does that make you happy?
If studded leather didn't exist, best guess it was people seeing leather brigandine, which is metal plates underneath the leather with rivets on the outside, but that would be like a pretty heavy suit of armor and wouldn't
Mhm.
be studded leather. So like studding leather doesn't really do anything for protection. So
Yeah,
Okay.
I think I had made a mistake earlier. I had told some of you that you guys had 200 gold to start with. So those of you who didn't have that, Nathan, add whatever you need to add to bring yourself up to that amount.
oh, neat.
I believe Steven, that's what I had told him,
Yeah,
was 200.
that's an extra 90 for me.
So like I said, some of the inventory stuff is stuff that Jason and I will have to take care of at some other point in time. As everyone see this on YouTube and see all the stuff I'm doing on this side. Now comes the super fun part. I want your guys' questions. What do you need to know that hasn't been covered in anything that I've sent you? I guess this also includes Nathan, as we never really had a session 0
Yeah.
for the other campaign. We just kind of like all jumped into it, but that's obviously a super veteran group that can do that.
Yeah. Well, and a super veteran group who's played in multiple campaigns together and kind of knows each other's boundaries, which actually, and that's, I was like, I am planning on playing this character as someone who sees himself as pretty devalued because of some traumatic upbringing. Is that a triggering thing for anyone? Well, if it is, feel free to message me privately because I have other ways I could play him if that makes anyone uncomfortable.
And I mentioned too, like I said, Jason's character is diving heavily into the racism against orcs aspect, which is a theme in this world. Green orcs are bad, evil. Screw those guys. There is a group of orcs that are pale skinned, that are from the far north, that are known as pacifists. Minus a couple here and there. Yeah, far, far, far to the north, up in Darnak is a group of pacifist orcs that are all pretty much white-skinned, very pale-skinned. Anybody who's familiar with Wheel of Time would know them as the Tuatha'an, Way of the Leaf, super pacifist, but also think more our world, Amish, where at 13 they get to make a choice whether to stay in the tribe or leave. So,
All right.
Interesting.
but no, so the region that you guys are in down here in Solaris, so Solaris is one of the big dwarven strongholds. Duncaster is another dwarven stronghold. Laydance is the big dwarven capital. This whole the arm that reaches out there into the Beholm Ocean is also, all mostly hill dwarfs and whatnot. Obviously, the woods to the west are primarily elven. The central lands are kind of a mix of elves and humans. All of the mountain dwarves come up from the big northern mountains in the city of Lunaris. Rest in peace, Yotan.
Pieces.
Oh, no.
Yotan is in pieces. That would be correct. Yotan got ripped apart by undead.
To shreds, you say?
Yeah, to shreds. So I'll give some other general info. So there was a giant cataclysmal event that happened 1791 years ago that gave the world collective amnesia. But the world marches on. Races have risen to power and fallen. Orcs have started to invade from the southern continent of Redras. There is political turmoil all over, from your everyday town squabbles to nation states vying against each other. The world is basically a sandbox. Your party gets to choose where and when you want to go places. The exploration pillar is one thing that the advanced 5th edition system has really expounded upon. So when you're traveling from point A to point B, there are rolls to be made, there are things to be done, there are benefits and detractors to your party, a la a PF2E style critical success and critical failure system in the journey activities that some of you would be familiar with, obviously others not at all. Roleplay is super important in this campaign. Not everything is a murder hobo situation.
Darn.
But I think the biggest thing, and I was talking to Erica about this earlier before everybody joined, is obviously Sadie, you're new. You'll get into the swing of things. We will help you. We will give you some mulligans to kind of help walk you through the system and how to play cohesively. That's a given with new players. I am totally comfortable bringing new players along. So don't feel that you can't speak up if you notice something or have a question. Please feel free to ask. But out of all my players, so Nathan and I have been playing together since March of 2020. And primarily me as his DM in the majority of the things that we've done.
It's been almost 50-50, I would say.
Maybe a little.
Yeah.
But I think the one thing I was telling Erica is that I am known for my challenging combat. My DM style is challenging combat. Now, those of you who played with me before never really got to experience me as a DM in my world. I was either playing a pre-written module, whether it was Pathfinder or 5e.
Yep.
Your tactics as a group matter. that being said, levels 1 to 3 of the tutorial, welcome to the system. I know Nathan has already gone through some of that, but I think that him here as a
Hey, new character who dis. Like,
well,
I don't know how to
you
work
as
any of
a
this.
I don't want to say veteran of the system because none of us, myself included, are veterans of this system. But I think having someone who's familiar with the system, who I trust to go to, like, hey, what do you think of this? You know, to kind of help guide things, and even while in character, guide things. Will be a boon and helpful to all of us. If at any time during any scenario, whether it be roleplay, exploration, combat, that you have a question like, hey, how does this work? No matter your level of confidence in playing, there's no dumb question. By all means, don't worry about stopping the flow of combat or stopping the flow of what we're doing. If you have a question that is pertinent to your understanding of the system or my world or both or whatever, please ask. I mean, I'm available outside of times if you want to send me a message on Discord to ask a question or anything like that. I'm always open to helping you work through whatever issues that we're coming across. If something goes too far in a certain thing, like Nathan was saying, like, hey, if the way he's playing his character is bothering someone, please feel free to speak up. Like, we're not gonna just, jam stuff down your throat and say, well, this is what it is, deal with it. We're all here to tell a story together. Unless you're Jason and you just keep asking for the same thing over and over again after being told no 50 times. But I'm okay with that because I'm firm, but I'm fair. And if there's anything,
it doesn't hurt to ask again and again and again.
Oh, except it will hurt him to ask again and again and again and again. I'm fair. I occasionally make rulings that are wrong. And I come back later and I say, hey, I looked into it. That thing that I did was wrong. Here's a change that we're going to make to the game world because of what I did that shouldn't have resulted in XYZ outcome. The majority of the time, while we are actually involved in a game world and playing, I am going to make a ruling, and that's my ruling, and we're moving forward. If I'm wrong, I will freely admit, hey, I was wrong with that. We're going to retcon that. We're going to fix it, and we'll move on next time. But while we're actively role playing and actively in combat or actively doing this, if there's a rule that I don't know or Nathan doesn't know or whatever, I'll just kind of wing it, and then I'll figure out the correct thing later, and then moving forward, we'll know the correct thing so we don't make the same mistake again. While this is, like I said earlier, while this is 5e adjacent, those of you that are familiar with 5e are going to find out that this is not 5e. It plays enough differently that some of the conceptions that you might have about how 5e was might in-game get your character killed or lead to some consequences that your character might not be expecting. It's... Nathan, would you say it's not as forgiving in some aspects?
I would say it's more complex, so there's more stuff to go wrong. But I mean, yeah, like combat, yeah, not as well. Exploration, I think we were doing the alternative rule for fatigue when you go down in the previous campaign. It just never came up, right?
Yeah.
Because that's a big one to be aware of, that it's best to not go down if you can help it. Or if you go down, it might be better to just stay down for the fight.
Yep. Unless there's a way... thing that did come up in my conversation with Jason last night, that everyone That's been a homebrew rule in most of my games. So the only homebrew rule that I have in this game currently, if I remember correctly, is ranged attacks made from 10 feet above an enemy get an expertise die. But other than that, I don't have any. Kind of shaking out the system to be and trust the creators of it to be what it was. So whereas in like Ryan's game and in most of my games, you used to be able to consume at least a healing potion as a bonus action. Well, you can't do that in here because there's class features and maneuvers and things that you can take that allow you to do that.
One of my questions, you mentioned like combat was, going to be, strategic. Like we're going to have to pay attention to that more. But kind of everyday things, fatigue, weight limits, is that going to be super important? Are we going to have to pay attention to things like that? Sustenance, like our
Absolutely.
rations, things like
that. Supply. You can carry a number of supply equal to your strength score. Just period. You can carry that much.
Okay.
Every time you rest, you consume supply.
Okay.
If you do not have supply to consume, you cannot reduce levels of fatigue. And I believe that if you don't consume supply after X amount of days, you start to gain fatigue as well.
Okay. So kind of those like just day-to-day things, if you're thinking about real life, kind of a little bit more closer to real life, like those are going to be important.
When we get into the game, you'll notice that the Overland is a little bit almost more like combat, where it's not quite like roll initiative, but everybody decides what they're going to do. We roll and decide what we're going to do, and then we're there. And then the same with, it's not quite the same, but with role playing, you do have options to kind of be like, okay, well, I'm going to use this ability here, and there's a lot more like role play abilities. So you do have to be more kind of nitpicky about it, but there's a process for it. Like you'll start out, we'll head out for the first time with a good amount of supply, and you'll see how we kind of go through the process of, okay, this is how many days we're traveling, this is what you're doing in the travel, which might include some of us doing things that will get supply, and then we have to figure out how much it is at the end.
So, tracking supply. Mundane consumable items like food and water are simplified into a single item called supply. When an adventurer gains access to food and water, they can add supply to their inventory. Basic rations, dry food and water usually cost 5 silver for 1 supply, but finer foods may cost more. 1 supply consists of enough combined food and water to sustain a small or medium creature for a day. Large-sized creatures require 2 supply each day. Creatures of huge size or larger require an amount of supply determined by the narrator. A creature can carry a number of supply equal to its strength score in addition to the rest of its gear. A large-sized creature can carry supply equal to twice its strength. Whenever a creature takes a long rest, it must consume supply. If it does not, it gains a level of fatigue. So, fatigue is not the same as exhaustion. It's similar. The exhaustion mechanic has been broken out into 2 different things. Fatigue and strife. They are not fun.
Strife is during combat, right? And fatigue
No.
is... Okay.
It's kind of physical fatigue and mental fatigue.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And
So
you
the levels of
want to
fatigue are level 1, you cannot sprint. Sprinting is an action that you can take in combat.
Dash.
No, sprinting
Okay.
allows you to move 4 times your movement speed in a straight line.
Ooh.
But all sorts of bad things. Like people get, or everybody has advantage on you, I think.
Yeah, there's different. Let's see, combat and turn-based action. Sprinting. When you take the sprint action, you focus all your effort on moving as fast as possible to the exclusion of everything else. You may not take any other actions, bonus actions, or reactions other than your move speed for the turn. If you are encumbered, your speed is quadrupled. If you are unencumbered, your speed is quadrupled for 1 turn. If you are encumbered or wearing heavy armor, your speed is tripled for 1 turn. You must sprint in a straight line each turn, although you can change direction each time you sprint. You may sprint for a number of turns equal to your Constitution modifier. Each turn you sprint after that, you make a Constitution Athletics check, DC 10 plus 1 per previous check made in the last minute, or you suffer a level of fatigue from either tiredness or a minor sprain or injury. So, but attacks are made against you with advantage until the start of your next turn.
But it has to be a straight line, right?
Mm-hmm. Flanking is a thing. So, when you flank somebody, you get an expertise die on your attack. So expertise die is a D4, and they can step up. So, let's say Erica, you and Jason are flanking an enemy. You're on opposite sides of the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's his turn to attack. He gets to add a D4 to his attack. One of the other cool things that he can choose to do is he can choose to press the attack, which will give him another expertise die. So if you already have an expertise die and you gain another expertise die, it moves up in steps. So now he has a D6 on his attack. The problem with that is that now, until the beginning of his next turn, all attacks made against him are with advantage. So there's a trade-off. Do I really want to hit this guy and be vulnerable or not? Now, granted, the creature that you are pressing the attack on can choose to take the fall back action and take a step back. Now, as part of his press the attack, he can choose to follow that creature. He won't gain the expertise die anymore, but unfortunately, the advantage against him remains. So it's a gamble.
Is that when you're across from each other or like within like 5 feet of an ally?
Flanking the enemy. You have to be on opposite sides of the enemy.
Sides, okay.
Hey, Sean, you said that the spells that we see available in A5 or in Foundry are available to us?
Not the rare ones, but
Not the rare ones, but regular ones.
yes, that include cause there's no more discerning from Purple Martin Games anymore.
Yeah.
His little tag went away, so I just said, yeah, sure, whatever.
Because I'm looking at this otherworldliness cantrip, and yes, please.
Oh, let me look that up real quick. Hold on.
It's not necessarily OP. It just fits the character really well.
Glasses are in the bedroom.
I could probably. Oh, yeah, that wouldn't help.
I'm reading it. Yeah, my glasses are in the bedroom, and yeah. I popped it up so everyone can see it in the recording, and yeah. I mean, sure, why not? Fuck it. Do it. I'm down. That's where, like, some Sadie's ones. So, Sadie, if you look at your bothersome buzzing,
Mm-hmm.
I gave her bothersome buzzing as a cantrip.
Mm-hmm.
You hum briefly, but the hum persists in your target's ears, driving them to distraction. On a failed saving throw, the next attack made against your target gains expertise as if your target were flanked. At levels 5, 11, and 17, you may target additional creatures with this spell. And it's a bonus action. That's not bad, right, Nathan?
Not at all.
Well, from where you guys come from, and some of the things that I've discussed with you personally, Nathan, I think that thematically fits her character really well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because she has Spare the Dying, Flare Shot, Thaumaturgy, Bothersome Buzzing, and Sacred Flame. And she's a healer, so... I forget. How many spells does a cleric get to prepare? Because I don't know. Because I'm dumb.
Are they considered a half or a 3/4?
Oh, clerics are full casters,
Caster.
but...
For a full, okay.
You can choose a number of cleric spells equal to your wisdom modifier plus your cleric level. Okay, so... Sadie. Yours I made really crazy because I just prepared all of your first level spells. So you get to pick 4 that aren't purple, because the purple ones you always have prepared no matter what, and they do not count against you.
Okay.
So if you are saying like your main goal is to help people, right? Help the party. And so on and so forth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Might I suggest preparing Bless? So Bless lets you target people and give them a D4 to attack rolls and saving throws.
Okay.
You get 3 targets with that one. But there's a lot of cool ones. Like I said, I mean, there's like, corpse explosion. You can like blow up corpses.
Yeah.
Now, granted, that can damage your enemy. That can damage your party members too if they're within range of the corpse. But each creature in a 10-foot radius of the corpse makes a Constitution saving throw. It takes 3d6 thunder damage and is poisoned for a minute on a failed save. Or takes half as much damage and is not poisoned on a successful one.
And this is preparing, right?
Yeah, we're just get 4 first level spells to prepare. I think that if you're looking to like be the helper, I would recommend maybe Bless, which is a concentration spell.
Mm-hmm.
You have to maintain that one. I would recommend Guiding Bolt as a damage and help people out spell. So Guiding Bolt, you make a ranged spell attack against a target. On a hit, you deal 46 radiant damage, and the next attack roll made against the target they get advantage on the attack. If you're looking to really protect someone and even yourself, and all you're going to focus on is like not dealing damage to anybody and just focus on healing, and you don't want to be attacked, I would pick Sanctuary. Sanctuary is always a clutch spell. So you ward a creature against intentional harm. Any creature that makes an attack against or cast a harmful spell against a target must first make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, the attacking creature must choose a different target to attack, or it loses the attacker's spell. You're not safe from area of effect spells, but So if you're in melee and someone chooses to attack you, they have to make a wisdom saving throw. If they fail the wisdom saving throw, they can't attack you, and they have to choose to attack someone else.
Okay. I'm just taking a look through it, and I definitely do think doing the bless and the guiding bolts, like those two for sure. I was reading, where did it go? Warding barrier.
Okay.
Um, Thinking that that could probably also help as well.
Yeah, an attack lashes towards you or a spell flies, and you raise your hand to bring up a ward of force to protect yourself from those nearby. As a reaction to an attack that targets you or being in the area of a damaging spell or other effect which requires a dex saving throw, you create a temporary waist-high force field in front of you that provides half cover to you and anyone behind it as normal cover would. Creatures behind you relative to the source of damage also gain the benefit of cover. So they get the +2 bonus to AC and dexterity saving throws until the start of your next turn. Yeah, that one's actually really good for being a protector. The other one that I would recommend is Skeletal Hand. You make a melee spell attack. On a hit, the target takes 1d8 necrotic damage and is restrained until the spell ends. It is a concentration spell, but a creature restrained by the hand can use a bonus action to make a strength saving throw to escape. On a failure, the target takes 1d8 necrotic damage. When the spell ends, the hand withdraws into the wall. So it's a way to like lock somebody down and still give them damage.
Yeah, I'll have that as my fourth one.
Perfect. Boom. And now, the question is, Erica,
Yes.
spells.
Yeah, I'm looking at spells.
So if you click the open the filter page, you can filter it down to wizard spell. And even more so, you can filter it to like cantrips. Cool thing is that you automatically get prestidigitation. That's a spell that you get. All right. So you get I believe 3 cantrips besides prestidigitation. Which 3 cantrips?
Wish it was easier to.
So if you open the compendium pack and spells, and if you click, so if you see it in the upper right hand corner, there's like a little upside down triangle. If you click that, it'll let you filter.
So what should I filter it by?
Wizard
though?
and cantrip.
So is that actor?
No, not that one. If you open the A5e spells from the compendium pack first.
Okay.
And it's going to pop up a fancy compendium pack. Yeah, this might help.
Did you share something somewhere?
Mm-hmm. It might be a little laggy with everything else that I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see if it works. There you go. All right. I shared my screen on Discord. So you see, I got this sheet opened up. That is, I went to compendium packs, the A5E spells. I opened this sheet, and I clicked this little icon here.
Hold on. Companion pack. And why isn't just spells showing up?
You got to open the A5E folder. And scroll down to the bottom of that folder, and A5E spells.
Under A5E, I have actor and item.
Under items, all the way down at the bottom, items is spells. You see it?
Mm-mm.
So, in compendiums, A5E, scroll down to the bottom of items. Like I say, item is a background, class, culture, maneuver, paragon, gifts, spells.
Items isn't pulling anything up for me. The game still shows as paused, by the way, so maybe I'm not able to do anything.
Well, the game is paused.
Okay, yeah. Item is
But
when I click on it, nothing's happening.
You don't have to click on items. Item doesn't do anything. It just it's everything. There's no folder for item.
Well, A5E is not showing. I have actor, I have item.
What is it showing? Do you see background features, backgrounds, class features, culture features, any of that?
No.
But Nathan, you do?
I do. Yeah, there's the A5E folder. When I click on it, I've got monsters, background features, background class features, all the way down.
But Erica, you don't.
This is what I am seeing. I'm going to try to share it with you.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, she's not seeing any of it. Okay. Give me a second. I am going to.
Yep. Spells, you said, right?
Yep. Thank you, Nathan.
Okay.
No worries.
Thank you.
Spells. So as you can see, I'm still sharing my screen. So you open the spells, then you click this little icon here. Open filter page. Click wizard and cantrips, and then close filter page. And it'll be just cantrips. Now, the ones with the sunburst next to them, you cannot pick.
Oh, rare spell really. Okay.
So you already
I can-
have prestidigitation. That's automatic given. So you get to pick 3 other ones. Do not think that just because they have the same name that they operate the same way, because they might not. For your character, although our mileage did vary, Nathan, but if she's going to go multi-classing into fighter, I don't know, how useful did you find Altered Strike?
Not at all. Once I was using strength as my Yeah, and that was part of once my build got messed up, where strength was higher than my spellcasting ability. But if
Yeah.
she's going for a higher intelligence than Dex, then it would make sense. But it does take a whole action to get going, so you either got to start it before combat or wait, no, is Altered Strike the one that just worked? I think I'm thinking of Arcane Muscle.
You briefly transform your weapon and fist into them, but you'll then strike with it.
Yeah, I was using it early on before I started bumping my strength up. Like, yeah, being able to attack with your spellcasting modifier with your weapon is nice. And then at the higher levels, once we start running into creatures with immunity, if she hasn't gotten a magic weapon yet, that could turn out useful.
Yeah. So those are all the cantrips minus like 2. You don't get to pick Frigid Ray of Frost or Greater True Strike. Unfortunately.
Okay.
I
mean,
think
Fine.
I think you can filter out the rares.
You don't have
Nope.
to. They're
Oh,
marked.
yeah, you can.
Well, yeah, but they're also marked by Sunburst. I mean, Greater True Strike is actually not that bad. They actually kind of fixed it because you get a minute of concentration on it.
Yeah. There's another first level warlock spell I haven't seen before that I would like to take, the Sanguine Orb.
Okay, then. I'll get to that. Let me help Erica with these real quick, and I will look that one over in a minute.
Yep.
So Erica, what are you thinking?
Mhm.
I mean, there's the classic Firebolt. You know, the classic Chill Touch. I mean, Mage Hand. You never know, right?
Mage Hand is a good one.
Mm-hmm.
What the heck is that one?
Okay, so
Rope Shot. Part of the action used to cast a spell, make a ranged weapon attack against the target within range of the weapon you are wielding. On a hit, the ammunition from your shot leaves sturdy cord behind it. This gives you an option to shoot like rope across a chasm.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's lots of interesting ones. I mean, some of these are from the book, some of these are from third-party materials, but there's no discerning from them anymore. So you get to pick 3.
okay.
So,
Well, I can worry about this and ask you questions if you kind of want to move on because I'll look at this. So
yeah, so you get 3 of those, and you also get 6 first level spells.
so that's how many I can add, but I have like what 2 spell slots, right, for first level?
Yep. So you get like I said, so you get 3 additional cantrips, period. And then you get 6 first level spells.
Yeah.
And then let's see here. You can prepare spells equal to your intelligence modifier plus your wizard level. So you can prepare
4.
you can prepare 4 out of the 6 first level spells you know.
Okay.
And remember, as a wizard, if you have a ritual spell, you don't need it prepared to be able to cast it. Nathan, which cantrip?
Sanguine Orb. I'll pop it out into chat.
Why do I not see that one?
I don't know. It sounded like other things were going on in chat that I wasn't seeing. I haven't seen anything come up in chat.
see a 5. Bless you.
Thank you.
Oh, that's a first level spell. Okay.
Yeah.
I had it filtered by cantrips. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dark words and twist your hands. You cast forth an orb of mingled blood and torment. Yeah. Yeah. It travels 20 feet in a straight line. Deals 5 points of necrotic damage to any creature whose square it passes through, up to a maximum of 20 damage before it dissipates. If it runs into a wall or other large object, it bounces off at a random angle. Nice.
Or you can choose to do it as a healing spell.
Mm-hmm.
But also importantly, if you notice the range is self, that's important for me.
Okay.
For reasons.
You can heal it to a maximum. Yeah. Yeah. I'm cool. Yeah. I'm down.
Play a little D&D pinball.
I'm not actually. I almost recommended it for Thalia's.
Ah.
So, yeah, I'm cool with that one.
Cool.
Deal some damage or deal some healing. So, I guess my main question is like, what questions do people have in general? You know, what world building stuff do you think you need to know, or you know, even you, Nathan? Is there something about like this particular region or time frame or anything? You know, or if questions for your fellow party members?
Don't so much yet without, giving away character things. Most of my stuff I, either want to talk in private to people or I want to see how it plays out in game.
Well, and that's honestly like what I figured with.
Yeah. My character's pretty stranger in a strange land anyway, so it makes sense that he wouldn't know all this stuff.
Yep.
Except for the stuff from the place that I would know things about, which you can feed to me.
Mm-hmm. Steven, questions?
No, not that I noticed. The only thing that I did see, I'll just let you know right now, is we forgot to put my damage resistance from my draconic armor.
I don't. Is there?
Draconic armor, dragonborn, you have resistance to the damage type dealt by your dragon breath.
Yeah, it's on there. Damage resistance force.
Yep. I put that on.
Yeah,
It wasn't on before that.
that's not going to be coded. That's going to be one of
Yeah.
those things that we're just going to have to be like, and that was force damage. Okay, I'll make sure I give you X hit points back or whatever. There's
Yeah.
not a ton of automation. In A5e when it comes to that kind of stuff. It's a little bit closer to tabletop where we have to kind of narrate through our turns and say what we're doing, so on and so
Yeah, what we've noticed comparing like the automation in the O5E versus this is like you'll say, "Hey, I want to attack this person," and he'll say, "Okay, cool, target him." Tell it to attack, and then you'll decide, okay, do I get advantage on it? Do I not get advantage? Do I get any modifiers to it? Okay, I've rolled the hit. Now let's see what the damage is. Although sometimes you roll damage first, which is a little weird, but
Well, the damage rolls at the same time.
yeah.
Um,
But there's a lot of like if you do mess something up, it's real easy to fix. It's real easy to kind of
Right.
like in the moment decide what you're wanting to do. It feels a little more like playing in person because you're having to remember your own, like, oh, I get advantage on this, so I need to click advantage, kind of stuff.
the only thing that you need to make sure that you do, you too, Nathan, I just looked at your character sheet,
Mm-hmm.
is make sure you configure your hit point. because they will not be configured.
I thought I did mine.
No.
I've got a hit die, and
You have a hit die, but you didn't configure your actual.
10 of 10.
You should have more than
Oh.
10. Plus
8 plus 2. Yeah.
Oh,
I got a D8.
oh, yours is only an 8.
Yeah, man, only like fighters and marshals get D10s, and barbarians with their honking D12. Almost everybody gets a D8. Except for wizards, sorry.
Well, I mean,
Yep, my whole 10 hit points.
there's a dead. Heck is a cleric anyway.
I think cleric is a D8 as well, but I could be wrong.
I don't remember. I think it's D10. No, it's a D8. No, it's a D8.
Yeah, like rogues, thieves, warlocks, I think even monks, sorcerers, clerics. Only people who don't get D8s are the marshals, the wizards, and the barbarians.
Yeah, well, that leaves Sadie with 9 hit points. That's fantastic. You know. Why not?
Now I get
I also do leave the same hit point option. So post level 1, you can choose to either take the standard hit points, or we can roll for hit points in the same way that we've always rolled for hit points. I roll, you roll, we take the higher after first level. So there is that. This big beefy dwarf over here with 15 hit points at level 1. No, 16 hit points at level 1. For Jason's character.
Yeah, he can take 2 great axe hits.
I mean,
If they don't roll too well or too bad.
you know. I mean, crits are crits, man.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing, crits. In this system, it's like Pathfinder 2nd edition. Your modifiers double, unlike 5th edition. So I don't have any static extra dice bonus. You'll re-roll your regular damage dice plus an additional damage dice, but then your modifiers double. When you are on the receiving end of a critical hit, there's a couple options that you have. If you are wielding a shield and it is equipped, you can choose to sacrifice your shield to turn a critical hit into a regular hit. But then your shield is destroyed. Unless it's a magical shield, then it becomes mundane. Or I forget the exact mechanic.
For an hour, I believe.
Yeah.
I think you can also choose to take a level of fatigue.
That's
right?
the next thing I was getting to.
Yeah.
Yep. Is that you can choose to take a level of fatigue. A critical hit can be turned into a regular hit by sacrificing an equipped shield or choosing to suffer fatigue. When you take a critical hit, you can use your reaction to block it, turning the critical hit into a regular hit and suffering a level of fatigue. Once you have turned a critical hit into a regular hit in this way, you cannot do so again until you finish a short or long rest. The other thing, massive damage can injure or kill you instantly. If you are reduced to 0 hit points after taking an amount of damage equal to or greater than 20, plus triple your character level, you make a DC 15 Constitution saving throw. On a failure, you die instantly. While on a success, you live but suffer 1 level of fatigue and 1 level of strife. I know that sounds brutal. Believe it or not, that saved Nathan's character Yotan from instant death at least once. Based on the 5e rules, there was a hit that he took that would have killed him instantly, that he survived by 1 hit point based off this rule. So,
Yep. Because it is a low-level training area, but it's also the level you're most likely to permanently die at. So,
so when you make death saving throws and you roll a natural 1, you suffer 1 level of fatigue and 1 level of strife. If you roll a natural 20, you regain 1 hit point, immediately regain consciousness, and are able to take the rest of your turn. If you take damage from an attack while you are at 0 hit points, the attacker can choose to make you suffer a death saving throw failure, 1 level of fatigue, or 1 level of strife. If you take any other damage while you have 0 hit points, you suffer a death saving throw failure. At the narrator's discretion, depending on the nature of the damage, such as blasting steam or errant magic, it may instead inflict a level of fatigue or strife. Stabilizing a creature. Healing a creature at 0 hit points is the best way to save it. Where healing is unavailable, the creatures can be stabilized so that it doesn't die due to failed death saves. As an action, you can administer first aid to an unconscious creature to attempt to stabilize them with a successful DC 10 medicine check. They no longer make death saving throws, but you remain unconscious. If you take damage, it's very similar to 5e in that aspect. Like I said, the only thing is that if damage reduces you to 0 hit points and fails to kill you, you are unconscious. Falling unconscious during an encounter is traumatic and inflicts a level of fatigue. The effects of fatigue gained during combat are only felt after the encounter in which they were inflicted has ended. During the heat of battle, it is easy to fight on without realizing the extent of your injury. A creature can survive multiple such injuries and continue adventuring. However, injuries are not to be ignored lightly. If you gain, it says 5 levels of fatigue, but that's an errata, you are doomed to die. I believe that has been since errataed to 7 levels of fatigue. It's the 7th level of fatigue that gives you doomed. Once you're doomed, that's it. You die.
it's important to know that you can only get rid of the first level of fatigue or strife outside of a safe, protected resting environment, like a city inn or somehow created safe haven, which is what I meant by sometimes it's best to just stay down, because if you only get 1 level of fatigue for going down once, then you can rest that night and be fine the next day. But if you come back up and then get knocked back down again, and get your second level, then you can't recover from any level of fatigue until you get back to home base and rest up.
Some sort of safe haven. Yep.
Yeah.
The other thing, the conditions are mostly the same. There is one absolutely new condition that matters, and it is called rattled. A rattled creature cannot benefit from expertise die. A rattled creature cannot take reactions. But a creature that is immune to being stunned is also immune to being rattled. A lot of the mechanics will come out as we play. I would like to stress that this is not a fuck around and find out campaign. By all means, you can do stupid things and fuck around and find out, as the other party just did. And it will result in character death. I spend a lot of time in forums and on the Discord server for the people that have created this game, and I talk to people that have literally like written sections of the Adventurer's Guide or sections of the monster manuals and things of that nature, and work out balance stuff. There are things that you can do as characters. I'm looking at you, Nathan. That'll get your party killed. It is not a slapstick campaign. There will be plenty of time for jovial, fun, haha moments, by all means. When you're deep into exploration mode, coming up on a dangerous area that you know to be dangerous is probably not the time for it. Learning how each of your characters work with each other is going to be paramount to your success as an adventuring party. Learn each other's strengths. Learn each other's weaknesses. Play on them. Communicate and work together, because A5E, all of you individually are not big damn heroes. As a group, you can do amazing things. Individually, each one of you can die that quick. Whether you're first level, fourth level, 10th level. The things that I'm finding as a narrator in this system is that things can go sideways really quick. And in this world that I'm building and that I'm creating, along with your guys' help, I'm giving you the setting, I'm giving you the world, I'm giving you the background, but you're helping me tell the story that's going to unfold within it. Now, granted, this particular group and campaign is taking place, roughly a year and a half prior to where the other group is, and there are certain, timeline events that are going to happen no matter what decisions you guys make. And as railroady as that is, it's just one of the decisions I had to make to bring you into this world to get you leveled up to roughly where the other party is in the same timeline that they are, that I had to make. But I think those of you who know me in this aspect of my life know that I will make it as fair as I can and as balanced as I can, and that I will give you guys the knowledge and the guidance to make the right choices. Whether you guys make the right choices or not, I'm not going to force This is a sandbox. You can go where you want to go and do what you want to do. There are so many moving parts to this world. So many different plots and subplots and machinations that are going on, that your little corner of the world down here by Solaris is just one piece of, 15 different moving puzzles. And the knowledge that I give you as a narrator will be to help you make informed decisions on what to do next. But I don't want you guys, especially after we reach level 3 and the world really opens up to you, once we get through the tutorial of this is the system, this is how it plays, I don't want anybody to feel like you have to do something simply because I suggested it as a narrator. I'm just laying out options. The world is yours to navigate how you guys see fit. And I don't only want that to be the overarching tone of this campaign. If there's something that's happening that's not sitting right with everybody, I'm open to communication. I'm open to feedback. It's not just my world, it's our world. Yes, I've laid the bones of it. I've got all the plot lines in my head. I've got everything else that's going on top of, 50 different things. And I'm not only doing that, I'm also merging you guys with everybody else that's also playing in this world. And I'm thankful that I have a player that's in both campaigns that can kind of help mesh and meld everything to a certain degree. But I want you guys to know that what you want to do and the impact that you make on the world is going to matter. Because it does. This is a culmination of my almost 3-year campaign that I ran with my Saturday crew and the things that I learned from it into building this beautiful homebrew world in this new system that, to be frankly honest, I am absolutely loving. This is A5E is so leaps and bounds beyond what 5e offered, and then you add in the OGL debacle and everything else that WotC has either done or not done. Now, granted, I know it's mostly Hasbro and not WotC itself, but same difference at this point. And feedback from the players that I have that play in this system, that are trying to convince more and more people to play it. I think that this group is going to really enjoy it. It's going to take all of us working together from the role play to the exploration to the combat to make sure that we flesh it out accordingly. And role play does play a huge factor into a lot of it. And so does exploration. So it's not just like a little bit of role play, we have some combat, and then we go point A to point B, and then we're there. Getting from point A to point B, lots of crazy things can happen. I mean, you can roll poorly on some of your foraging stuff and poison the whole party, and the whole party gets fatigued right before you arrive at where you're going to. I mean, we've had that happen, 3-4 times? By a guy who's really super skilled at it, but he just happens to roll really crappy. So Erica, don't be involved in charge of that roll.
Yeah.
What?
What? I'm just
Am I
saying.
the only one right now with survival?
Oh, good. I have survival.
No, well, sure.
Got to back up.
I think Jason's character has survival too.
Perfect.
Good. We've got backup for when the backup fails.
Got to back up for the backup.
So the other thing is actually for Erica. So underneath your skills,
Mm-hmm.
if you click on the little cogwheel on your skills, you're going to find
Yes.
a bunch of little specialties.
Okay.
You get to pick 5. Everybody gets 2. So, Steven, if I believe that you picked leadership and dungeoneering.
Yep. I'm just gonna take a double check at that, make sure that is what I want, but that's probably gonna be what I'm going for.
Yep. Nathan, you got yours all.
I haven't picked my specialties yet. And the first 2 can be anything, but the extra intelligence ones have to come from a certain list of
Yes.
skills.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's absolutely correct. Also in this system, I know we always kind of played it that way. Nat 1s and 20s matter, even in skill checks. It is actually written into the system that there are critical failures and critical successes based on skill checks. So, yeah, Erica, you get 2 from anything. Your bonus knowledge has to be from Arcana, culture, engineering, history, nature, or religion.
Okay, so that means it needs to come from Arcana pretty much, since that's what I've got already.
Or no,
Or
hold on.
no?
So
Okay.
having a higher intelligence means having more knowledge than other characters. During character creation, for each point of your intelligence modifier above 0, you can choose a skill specialty chosen from lore skills. If you are not proficient in any lore skills, you either gain proficiency with a lore skill, choose an extra language, or pick a tool proficiency. But you are familiar with lore skills, so you have so you don't have nature, but like so you can actually you would probably all take all your 3 bonus knowledge ones from Arcana, but you can pick 2 from the other ones that you have expertise in or proficiency in. Like if you wanted to take like survival and pick foraging, you could take foraging. If you wanted to take like look at stealth and pick camouflage, you could, or investigation, you know, like any one of those. Or you could literally take like 4 from Arcana. Like, it doesn't matter.
Where can we find more information about like all of these?
You really don't.
Okay.
There's examples of what they can be used for in the PDF under skills somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
Skill specialties.
Hmm.
Yep.
No, I
But
think
it
it's
doesn't really narrow it down. It just like it basically comes down to narrator discretion. It's like obviously you get 3 from your Arcana. I think a lot of it's pretty self-explanatory. Like forbidden knowledge or Fey, or like about oozes or elementals, or basically what it does is it gives you an expertise die on your checks for those things.
and basically you have to argue with the DM as to why that particular specialty would let you get an expertise die on the role that you're talking about. So, if you're wanting to examine the, the spell book or the residue of a spell cast by some horrible necromantic lich, then the Arcana Forbidden Knowledge would probably give you an expertise die on that.
Oh, okay.
Some of them are more straightforward, like, survival's got like foraging and tracking, whereas others are more esoteric, like history is arts, empires, genealogy, legends, and wars. And you can also make your own specialty with DM approval.
So,
Okay.
so for now, like those are the ones you kind of get to pick your specialties from. So yeah, obviously, you picked foraging. Like I said, you could pick like there's something in investigation that you wanted to pick, like trap finding. You know, which might not be a bad one, being honest. Yeah. Or
Yeah.
research.
And
You know. Yeah, go ahead, Steven.
um, letting you know, I changed out dungeoneering to hunting.
Okay. Was that from Survival?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so you pick trap finding. So then you get 3 more from Arcana. Like, I'm just go ahead and say, obviously, forbidden knowledge. It's kind of like a
Probably good.
gimme.
What's detection?
Think about it, like detecting magical stuff. Like
Okay.
things like that, like or just detecting, just like, oh, this is off, but it's off magically, or and you get 1 more. I will say, don't bother picking dragons. Don't bother picking the plane. Monstrosities might be a good one. Aberrations and Fae. Out of those 3, those that I would recommend. Fae, monstrosities, or aberration.
Mm-hmm. Aberrations are usually like kind of demon, that side of things, right?
Can be.
Also, like mind flayers and things from outside our reality stuff.
Okay. And then monstrosities, like what are they considered?
Usually, like if it's a beast, but it's been warped by magic, is like the rule of thumb. So, like bear, beast, owlbear, monstrosity.
Basilisk is a monstrosity.
Yeah, onkegs are monstrosities.
Trying to figure out what maybe makes the most sense. Either Fae, like I think Fae would make sense because of the, I don't know, like the Ensmary, like since that's like elvish lands, are there a lot of Fae, like kind of neighboring Fae beasts as well? Fae creatures.
Monstrosities, Fae, aberrations. I mean, Ensmary, based off of the description I read you. I mean, I could say, Erica, make me an intelligence check. But if you want your character to make me an intelligence check.
Mm, and
It
just
is
clicking on it doesn't work the way
Games also
Did.
pause, that
does.
might affect it.
Yeah, it does. I can roll it for you.
You have to click on the die part. If you click on the name, it doesn't.
Yeah, click on where it says so int 17. Click on the
Um,
left 3.
A check. Okay.
Pick Faye.
Okay. What was that under? Skill?
Yep, skills Arcana.
Okay.
Yeah, pick Faye.
Picked.
Your feelings about the Ensmeri region would be accurate, but only your character really knows that. So for metagame knowledge for everybody else. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting everybody in here. It's sad that Jason couldn't make it tonight because we all know that he would have a lot to say and to add,
Mhm.
which is always I don't mean that as a bad thing. But yeah, like I said, I'm open. Send me messages on Discord as needed. I will be creating a couple other little minor channels here and there that for like if there's something that you want like coded in features in here and whatnot.
Mhm.
There'll be forum channels for you to like request for that stuff or rules discussions or setting discussions and things like that. But like I said, I'm always open to send me a message. Yeah.
Okay, when were we planning on having the first game session?
That's still thinking March 19th still. I have to double check my calendar. I know I've had things in my life switch since the last.
Okay, yeah. I'll let you know. I'm waiting to kind of hear back from my sister. My nephew's gonna be going in for like a surgery on the 18th, and I'm gonna kind
Okay.
of be there to kind of like just help with things. So I'm kind of waiting to hear back from her, like what day she's gonna need help, because I'm gonna be in Iowa for that.
Okay.
So I'll try to let you know as soon as I know too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And whether or not that'll work that Tuesday. So
if we gotta push it off to April, we push it off till April. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I mean, like I said, I know like 2 weeks from now I'll be working. Doing depending on where I'm at, I might be able to run one, but like I said, the internet connection I had last night when I was pulling stuff up was absolutely horrible. They're like 2 bars on like old school 4G, and it was not the greatest. So that would make the 19th the next available day. But like I said, we got to push it. We got to push it. Not a huge deal. Might even be able to swing like if you know ahead of time, I might even be able to swing like a hey, let's do it on like the 26th. And then if everybody can swing it, we'll just play 2 weeks in a row and get back on the normal schedule. I should be able to swing. We play on March 26th and then April 2nd, and then we're back onto the every other week. If that works if that will work for everybody, I don't know if it will. But by all means, like I said, if anybody thinks of any questions or anything that concerns or whatever, just shoot me a message. I'm usually probably you guys know me. I'm pretty usually quick to respond to everything, even when I'm working. So
yeah. My only question right now, Sean, is for the World Anvil. Like, I created my account, but how do I like see the stuff for the world that you created? Because right now it's just telling me create your character.
Nathan.
Uh-huh.
Do you know much past that? Because I don't have to create a character. I just have World Anvil.
I don't like. I made the character on the first one, but I haven't done much in the World Anvil thing. Jesse's the better one to ask.
I think
But I
just
think
make
you
your
have to
generic
make a
character.
character. Yeah, that's what I seem to
Yeah.
remember it being.
Do
Where
that
you had
first.
to make
Okay.
a character.
Okay.
Yeah, just make
All
a
right.
generic character. Like, don't even like you don't have to worry about like filling out everything. Just do some basics. Be like, I'm done. And then you can start viewing articles because, like, I have, like, if you want to know about like what the gods of the region are like, I've got gods, I've got deity. There's 9 of them. There's the big. If you look at the map, like the map has cities, and you can click on the cities and like read what the cities are all about. Like some of them aren't going to be up to date. Some of them aren't going to have anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like Solaris, it talks about it being overrun by orcs because, well, that's a fixed point in time. Sorry, nothing. That's something that's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Nothing we can do.
Even the doctor can't fix it. Sorry. But there's also like pictures and what the cities look like, and not all of them, but some of them. So there's lots of interesting things. I haven't quite figured out how to separate it into your group versus their group. Maybe a little bit. I haven't had a whole lot of time to dive into it, but it's a good thing. Lets you read some articles about things that have happened in the world, cities of note, things of that nature. So, and it'll be fleshed out more and more as time goes on as well. So, in regions of the map and whatnot. But most of the story I just like to tell like in the system, and you guys kind of got a feel for like your region. Like the Oswald Mountains have kind of like been taken over by orcs. Solaris is this city that's on like the coast that's like been defending against orc hordes and orc invasion time immemorial at this point, and you guys have joined the legions, to help fight against it, among other varying reasons that some of your group may have. Obviously, everyone's going to have a different reason behind it. But I think overall, I'm super excited. I'm super excited to get Sadie. I'm super excited to get you in here and give you an opportunity to scratch a TTRPG itch and maybe, give you a lifelong habit that's going to consume too much of your money. And,
Okay, the first hit's free.
Yep. The first set's free. Don't be like me and end up spending over like thousands and thousands of dollars on your hobby. But I've done that, so y'all don't have to, and I don't mind
Thank you.
bringing and enjoying my hobby with you guys. And I don't know if you saw Nathan, but the A5E has a Planes book coming out soon.
Yeah.
Which
yep,
you
I'm
obviously
excited.
know that I will be purchasing and have access to.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much that's going to impact this world, but down the line, we'll see. Like I said, this campaign is seriously one of those that I predict to take a long time, years. So it's not just a short, 1 year. Let's go quickly. Levels come hard. Your first 3 levels will come quick. After that, levels come hard. I expect you guys to succeed. I expect you guys to fail. Not everything that you're going to come across is going to be winnable.
Bless you.
So, running away is always an option. Finding alternatives to fighting is always an option. There are going to be times that I will throw you on a air finger quotes here battle map. Doesn't mean that you have to battle. That can get to be a mindset playing in a virtual tabletop like this that, oh, if we put up a map, we better get ready to fight. I don't want that to necessarily always be the mindset of just because I put you on a map doesn't necessarily mean you need to fight whatever it is you come across. I think for most of you that shouldn't be a problem. I know at least one of you doesn't have any bad habits to unlearn because she hasn't had any chance to learn any habits yet. So,
Playing it by ear.
yep. So, like I said, Sadie, like I said, at any point in time that you have a question about a mechanic or combat or role play or anything like that, please ask, because it's the only way that we learn. You know, I know that you've consumed a lot of media surrounding role playing from
Yes.
Taz and so on and so forth, which is actually a really good source to consume from, at least the first season.
Oh.
You know, just don't go casting Zone of Truth on everybody. All I ask.
No, I won't.
You know.
Why not?
And I cast Zone of Truth. That's not how it works. Dad, that's not how it works. But I cast it anyways. Fine. For anybody familiar with the Adventure Zone. But yeah, I look forward to bringing this group and seeing what impact they can have on the world based off of the things that happen. Especially in the mad dash to get from first level to third level. And just know, as challenging as you find 1 to 3, just know that it gets more challenging after that.
Yay.
So, yeah. Like 1 to 3 is tutorial, welcome to the world, welcome to the system. Okay, you're third level now? All right. Now let's explore the world and see what trouble you can get yourself in or out of. And I can already tell you this, Jason is going to get you guys into a lot of fucking trouble.
Oh boy. That's
Be prepared for that. I've talked to him. I've already put a couple brakes on a couple things, but this is Jason that we're talking about.
oh no. Yeah.
So
as long as it's not 100 miles from Solaris, I should be fine.
You know,
well, for now.
As you can see on this map here, the hexes, so each hex is a day's travel. So from like center hex to center hex, or one edge to one edge, is roughly a day's travel. So it's not a giant world, but it's not small either. And this is just one continent. So there are going to be lots of interesting things to be said.